It's the return of Thunderground Thursday, everybody. I'm here to talk about the new quannnic album, Warbrained. It's not new, actually. It came out in like August. I'm just catching up with it. To tell you the truth, they contacted me, the label contacted me and said, dude, I want to do an interview. And I said yes. And then just life got away from me. And then I was like, just earlier this week, and I was like, oh my God, the new quannnic album came out, and I haven't even listened to it. I'm so far behind, but it's all right. I'm a busy guy. And you know what? I'm done with I'm done with money. All right. I'm not done with money. But as my channel was doing better and better, and I started making more money on AdSense, I realized I was getting a little too far away from one of my main goals of this channel, which is just to share great music. So I'm actually going to play some of this music for you so you can hear it here on Thunderground Thursday. And that's going to take away all my monetization. So the only reason you're watching, the only reason I want you to watch is for you to enjoy some new music that you may have never heard before. Now, I have featured quannnic before. Their last album, Step Dream, was an album I liked a bunch. I had my favorite album cover of all time. I would show it to you, but my 3-year-old is sleeping downstairs. I don't want to wake her up. I want to do this video. And I have to say that they've really evolved a lot. I actually think this album is like way better than that album, and I like that album quite a bit. But this one, listen, this is the kind of music that we're talking about here. Like okay, the first thing you're going to say is you're going to say shoegaze because of all the layers of guitars and because you can't hear what the singer's singing the whole time. But it's not just shoegaze, but it's also shoegaze. And let's just have a little second here. Let's just have a little second to appreciate how awesome shoegaze is as a genre. I mean, I always just think, obviously, of My Bloody Valentine first. I remember the first time I heard them. I remember the first time I understood what made them great was when they had that one little sound in that one song of theirs that's so popular. And that's where I realized that, like, the thing about shoegaze, and a lot of shoegaze artists lose this, is actually shoegaze music is often quite hooky. It often has a lot of hooks. So this has that. This has a lot of those hooks. Plus, it's also kind of an emo album. I don't know. I guess they're from Florida or something like that. But there's something about this that just reminds me a lot of the kind of music my friend Ted used to listen to back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like he was into emo before it was like a punchline. It was like a cool thing, you know. Uh, I got him a Remo drum sticker and I cut off the R and I put it I put it on his car to represent emo. That was he was emo before it was cool. So it's kind of like that. So it's kind of shoegazy, kind of emo, but it's also just kind of 90s alternative rock style. Which listen, we're done. Okay. So the thing is that things get stuck, right? Like classic rock can't sound like anything after 1980, right? Like classic rock is basically stuck between 67 and 79. Anything before it is oldies. Anything after it, like, might be new wave. So I think it's just time that we say that, 90s rock and roll is just its own sound, and that alternative is basically just a sound. And this is that often. At times it reminds me of Dinosaur Jr., Dinosaur Jr. Jr., Dinosaur the Third. Trey Dinosaur. But the thing that's great that I love the most is just I've been listening to this album for like a week. I didn't know when I was going to get to do this video. My channel, like many other channels on YouTube, I'm in free fall, y'all. I'm getting like just no subscribers. I don't know what's happened. I got 1,000 less subscribers this month than I did last month. I'm getting like tens of thousands of less views. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I don't really care because I never expected to have any success at all. That's a complete lie. I totally care, but I can't do anything about it. So I'm just going to sit here and revel in talking about some great music that presumably will not please the Algo Kitty. But what I love about this is just there's the pounding guitars. There's the layer upon layer upon layer of guitars. There's some great bass work, very solid drumming, but then there's almost always some kind of distorted lead line that becomes the hook, that becomes the do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. From I don't even know. I don't. A friend of mine lent me My Bloody Valentine on cassette. He didn't give me the J card, So I've listened to that album probably 100 times. I don't know a single song title off that album. But it's that kind of hook that brings you in. And obviously with emo, the emo thing, often I would say that shoegaze doesn't always have a ton of dynamics. Whereas here we have the kind of emo style dynamics of a lot of loud, quiet stuff. It's great. You're gonna hear it. The song I'm gonna play for you. You're gonna hear it. You're gonna love it. The lyrics are often submerged. So I I just looked this up in the other room, and it turns out it's about someone coming back from war. It's called Warbrained, who has PTSD, which makes sense. If I had followed up and asked for that interview as I should have, although just word of warning, interviews scare the hell out of me. I get all up in my head. I get so nervous about talking to people. I can barely function. So that's why sometimes people ask for interviews that I would like to do, but I just get all up in my head about it. So that's probably why I said no. And secretly, that's probably why I didn't even review this album, because I just get so scared of doing reviews. It's weird, but yeah, it makes sense. So that makes sense. Going back, even that is kind of like a cool. I don't know. Obviously, it reminds me of the song "One" by Metallica, and the album cover is this like brain with like lightnings, and it has kind of like a 80s heavy metal kind of vibe to it as well. All these different kinds. But let me just tell you. Let me play you a song. My favorite song on the album turns out it's the second single, "Aviator." I'm not going to play you the start. I'm going to play you the end. But the start has this cool kind of like pulsing distortion with these little sweet, clean guitars that come underneath or right above it. And then it just kicks into this. It's so distorted. It is so unbelievably distorted. Just like the drums are distorted, the guitar is distorted. Like it sounds like it's like post-production distorted. Everything just sounds totally blown out and totally crashed out. But then their voice is kind of nice and high. Quannic's voice is kind of nice and high. And then the part I'm going to play for you is this end bit where they're singing, they're singing, they're singing, and then there's this little and then there's the distortion and the crashing and you're gonna watch the video. The video's got like this little girl wearing like a death mask and she's got like a actually reminds me of like a tool reminds me of a 90s heavy metal hard rock video, like a Tool video or Metallica video. Look up Nothing Else Matters. Is that the video with the old guy? Kind of has that kind of vibe. It's like this little girl, like a mask that looks like a skeleton. She's holding onto a shotgun. It's cool. It's a cool video. Um, there's some stop motion in there. One thing I'll definitely say about Quantic is they have a very good sense of visual presentation. Again, the cover of Step Dream is that might be my album cover of the decade so far. That's how much I like that album cover. Um, Anyway, so you're going to hear this bit. I'll play you the loud bit, and then there's this little quiet part where the guitar's playing, and then this little doodle of a guitar line is the hook that brings you in. And the chords kind of keep changing and modulating in unexpected ways underneath until the drums come in and they're pretty clean. And then they get louder and louder and louder and louder. The lyrics here are, can you feel me, pin me way up against, you didn't take my word, it's turning ugly, 'cause like father, you wish you could be like him. There are so many things I wish I didn't care to do. It feels to me like this and a couple other songs on here. If this is in the perspective of somebody else, it makes sense, but it feels like it's someone who's really struggling to come to terms with their relationship with their father and the cyclical nature of abuse, which I think ties quite nicely into the whole Step Dream album as well. Just a thing that emo does really well is express the pain, the psychological pain of emotionally sensitive people, to put it very, very gently. And that's what I feel here. Sorry that the light is changing so much. My hair's not very good today either. I'm really not going for any clicks. I'm not going for any clicks. Okay, so let's listen to it. All right. I'm going to share this with you. That's why I'm recording on Zoom here. I don't have headphones, do I? I don't. So I can't hear what I'm playing for you. So if I'm nodding my head off beat, don't laugh at me. Just smash the like bucket. Subscribe. AVAA stands for awesome video as always. All right. It's unhinged Professor Sky time. Why not? All right. So let's watch this. Share. All right. Here we go. I really don't know what to do while I'm listening to this. It's the part. right, that's about as much time as I can wait here. Cool, right? Did you hear all the kind of cool dynamics that are going on there? The music, the distortion, the rocking. It's great. So I'm going to go through the rest of the album super quickly here because I don't want this to be too long because my Thunderground Thursday videos are better when they're not too long. It's not like I have to worry about them. Yeah. So it opens up with Prune Sail. Again, just the great production on here. This like screeching sound into these great punishing shoegazy chords. That awesome way of being catchy but just like only on repeat listening. It could actually be sort of I mean, it could almost be a hook, a poppy hook chorus if it wasn't just so dang noisy. Great post chorus with these cool distorted notes that sound almost like a telephone alert. So many cool little single note droning two-tone sounds all throughout this album. The lyrics, and when the water's gone, how am I supposed to drown with you? So 90s. Now listen, I think that quannnic was born in this century. I think quannnic is very young. I think quannnic is a person, right? Quannnic is a band and also a person. I'm pretty sure they are born this century. But those are the most 90s lyrics I've ever seen. When all the water's gone, how am I supposed to drown you? In a good way. Next song is called Wrenches. Just these two chords, all this like this third one with this high chorus, and it's actually kind of smashing pumpkinsy, smashing pumpkins-ish. A lot of I've seen like I have like three students this semester who are wearing Smashing Pumpkins t-shirts, and every time I see them, I'm like, I don't understand how is it that the music of my college is the music of the college of kids that are coming up these days? I don't know. Do I tell them about the time I saw Smashing Pumpkins in 1991, opening up for the Chili Peppers with Pearl Jam before 10 even came out? No, I don't even mention it. I barely even tell that story. I don't know who you're talking about. Anyways, just great, fun, loud, just funky, lost lyrics, but really great drums on here. Then we get to Aviator, then Scolder that has an actual guitar solo, like an actual guitar solo. So I think that's Quantic playing the guitar solo, and it's nice to hear an actual guitar solo. And then we get the Torch, which has this crazy backwards guitar sound that sets up as a bass, and then almost like the clock chimes. Ding, 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 ding. Sort of like that in the beginning. And then there's like this waltz that comes behind and definitely the catchiest song on the album because they keep on singing My Last Cigarette. I don't really know what that is. I found the lyrics. The lyrics are I've got your lighter, I used it to light my last cigarette. It's so catchy. I was walking to class, in between classes. I was walking, from one building to the other, and I go just in my last cigarette. But I figured metaphor was the best way to remember it. Before I avoided it, I'm shocked to find out I'm just like you. Right in this house, you said I was just like you. Again, it feels like the desire to escape cyclical trauma, but not knowing how. Paperweight, gorgeous lead guitar line descending, another kind of waltz with a little Twin Peaksy underneath what do you call that? Keyboard sounds, the tapestry, the atmosphere. It's dark, it's full, it's moody. Just like this is the point of the album where you listen to it for the first time. You're just in it, you're just like in this album. Heaven Safe. Oh, by the way, speaking of 90s, every single song is one word. Even when they have to be smashed together like a clumsy portmanteau, they're just smashed together like Heaven Safe. So 90s. I love the lead guitar here screeching downwards. It's another waltz. Then we get to Observer, or it could be Observer. I don't know if it's in French or not. Another one of the great songs on the album. The simple drums, very simple and funky, but these great blasting layers of guitar with so much flange. I think whoever was producing this album, the flange button broke off on this, and the flange was stuck to 11, and they just could. This almost gets to be almost like rock rap at a certain point, effing up my knuckles just to prove something. Everybody does it to prove something. Everybody wins just to lose something. A little jam, these waltzing guitar lines, and the ride cymbal played super nicely, and this weird funky outro, like a double bass drum, almost kind of like heavy metal bass drum sounding here. And then in the back, there's just like, everybody wins just to lose something. Everybody does it just to prove something. There's this weird sound in the background. Everybody, they're like, they're just in the background. It's like, there's this crazy. I can't explain it to you. You have to listen to the song where at the end, like everybody, it's a cool thing. Floor Face, great song. Great title. Interlocking alarm. This sounds like an alarm. Again, like almost like alarm sounds, like bee that kind of thing, but they kind of interlock before they kick into the full emo song here. And this great, weird, compressed sounding outro with just like that kind of that kind of energy. Then the album ends with War Death, a gentle outro, doubled voice. So is this like a thing? Is this like a thing where the whole album's been about someone coming back from war, and then in the end they're gonna die, and it's like, oh, it's not a war death because you die at home, but you were so traumatized by what you saw that it is. Is that what this is? I don't know. I grew up in a time where we talked a lot about the song "One" by Metallica. Just great. I love the ending here. Kind of like the last song, with just this like blasting and resetting distortion with sustain at the end. I'm just a roach now lying on my back. It's crawling all over me. I wanted to hand out all of my importance. I'm not a hero. I'm just a topic. I guess that goes into the theme of military stuff. So there you go. There's my review of Quantic. Thank you to Dead Air Music for always sending me heads up for your music. Sorry, I'm not always the best advocate or mouthpiece. What can I do? I am literally an amateur, and this is literally a hobby I just picked up in the lobby. So please tell me in the comments, what did you think of Quantic? Check it out. All right, until next time, there's the camera.